You're listening to the Exploring Fitness Podcast, Episode 7. In this week's episode, we sit down with a dual business owner as she opens up about how a fitness community changed her life, her journey of becoming a business owner, how her two worlds blend perfectly together, and we get into how massage can be beneficial to your health and fitness. In 3, 2, 1, go. I'm Dan Dalator. In over 10 years of experience as a clinician and a coach, I've worked with hundreds of athletes to help them improve their health, wellness, and fitness, but still feel that there is so much more for all of us to learn. This is a podcast dedicated to furthering our understanding of health, wellness, fitness, and how to apply these concepts into our daily lives to create true and lasting changes in your fitness and health. This is the Exploring Fitness Podcast. We're all familiar with the saying, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. My guest this week is the epitome of that saying. I don't know if I've ever seen this person not smiling. Being the owner of two different businesses, one in the fitness industry and the other as a massage therapist, she has found the perfect blend of the two. And as someone who has personally seen her in action during both roles, it is clear just how passionate she is about what she does and how those roles contribute to her shining personality. Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode. This week's guest, in 2017, she started her own practice, Medi Sports Recovery Massage, as a licensed massage therapist and has additional certifications in sports massage and as a medical massage practitioner. And she also took over as owner of CrossFit KGB in Kennebunk, Maine in 2019. Sarah Marcotti, welcome to the Exploring Fitness Podcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So the first question I ask all of my guests, what is fitness to you?
What is fitness to me? I would have to say that fitness to me is perseverance, the ability to keep going, even in the face of opposition or time snags or whatever might come your way, whether it's physical or mental fitness. I would say I see it as perseverance.
Wonderful. Being in the CrossFit and massage world, do you feel like CrossFit significantly helps that ability in all of those aspects?
Absolutely. I don't think anything helps it more on the day-to-day, regular, come get down and dirty and do hard things and like it and keep going, even when it's not going your way. Yeah, CrossFit
Nice.
is literally the definition, I think, of perseverance.
And you almost always have somebody right next to you struggling, doing the exact same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like group torture, but you sign up for it and pay for it.
Yeah. Shared struggle. So did I miss anything in the intro? Anything else that you want to add? Tell people about yourself?
Anything else about me? Started CrossFit in 2012 and just loved it. I started at a time in my life where I was experiencing a really difficult situation, and it saved me. I remember, I believe I was on CrossFit.com, updating my profile, And one of the questions they ask is, have you had a life-changing experience due to CrossFit? And I can 100% say yes to that question.
Can you dive into that a little bit more?
Oh, I sure can. How much do you want to know about me, Dan?
As much as you're willing to give, Sarah,
All
as
right,
much as you're willing
great.
to give.
Sure. 2012, I was married. I am still married, just not to the same person. Um, my then husband, unexpectedly, unbeknownst to me, I thought everything in my relationship was great. It wasn't. He started seeing someone else, and it really rocked my world. So I moved from New Hampshire back to Maine, and my mom had been doing CrossFit for about a year, and she loved it. She was talking about it all the time. She still is doing it today at 65 years old. And she talked about it so much and tried so often to get me to go that I actually refused. So when I moved back to Maine, and my relationship was failing and I was at a really dark place, finally, I was spending a lot more time with my family, being closer to home. It was St. Patrick's Day, and they were doing a partner workout called Lucky Balls, where everything was done with a wall ball, which I had zero experience with. She said, please, please, please come with me. I don't have a partner. I really want you to do this. And I had always been like a runner, and like I'd played team sports and stuff, but I'd never done CrossFit. So I was like, all right, fine, I'll go. And I went, and I just got my ass handed to me, and I loved every second of it. And the people were so nice and kind and just genuinely awesome to be with. And I found my place. And it was one of those things where I had friends who loved, photography and hiking, and they had these passions. And I was always a little jealous because I did not have that in my life, something that I was really passionate about. And CrossFit became that thing. That was very low at that point in my life, but also become this really passionate thing for me that I still, 13 years later, love.
I think that's fantastic that your mom was the one that kind of recruited you and got you into it, where I feel like a lot of times it's the other way around. Like a lot of CrossFit members, I feel like, try to get their parents more active in doing things, but the fact that your mom was the one that dragged you into it is pretty cool experience.
Oh yeah, it's great. She still loves it. She's there 5 or 6 days a week. She could be our mascot. We should put her on a t-shirt.
You haven't already?
I know. I feel like I'm failing right now. It's great. And I still feel the exact same way about the community and, the act of actually doing CrossFit now as I did then. It's not lessened at all for me. I love it. I just love it.
Is that love for the community what eventually drove you to take over CrossFit KGB?
Yes, it definitely is. I actually I got my coaching certification in 2013. And I coached, but not a ton. And then when I went to massage therapy school in 2016, and I went through like anatomy and physiology and, kinesiology, which is like the study of movement, a lot more things started to make sense to me from a coaching perspective. And like the more I learned about the human body, the more I feel like I really learned about like, the movements and how to effectively coach people through the movements, and things just really clicked for me. So starting my massage therapy practice and then getting a lot more involved in the coaching world. When the previous owner, Ben, he decided to go into the merchant marines, and I was helping another girl at the time to kind of run the day to day at the gym. Um, and he was gone for maybe about a year, and he was back periodically, but he came home probably the beginning of May of that year. And he just said, look, I'm doing this thing with the Merchant Marines, and I want to know if you want to buy the gym. And I said, if you're selling, I'm buying. And the best decision I ever made. I absolutely love it.
Had you been thinking about it before he approached you?
I hadn't really. He was a great guy and he was a really great coach. And I always wanted to be able to like coach really effectively the way he did. You know, he was funny and just very personable and he just really got through to people. So I really saw him as a mentor and learned, you know, so much from him whenever I could. Um, so when he offered to sell me the gym, I actually kind of argued with him to keep it. Because I really, you know, I thought he was just great, and he was the guy at the top, and he was the person that should be there. So I was like, why, are Leah and I doing something wrong? Like, why do you want to sell? Like, everything's going great. And he was like, you know what? It just needs somebody to be here full time, and I feel like that person is you. So he kind of argued back, and um, so I was like, okay, like if that's how you feel. And he did for a while come back once he left the Merchant Marine, and he did coach for me for a while, which was great. He ended up moving a little further north, so eventually kind of came out of that role. But I did try initially to get him to keep it, and I had never really thought about it being mine. And I still don't think about it being mine. I think of the gym as everybody that walks through the door. It's ours, because if, it's just mine, it's not going to be much if I'm, there by myself and I'm the only person who owns it. I feel like it's owned by every single person that walks through the door every day.
Yeah, it's the community behind the gym. You just help organize and run things behind the scenes.
Yes, I always say I have the distinct privilege of being its lifeline and paying the bills and, making sure the lights are on and all that good stuff.
Awesome. Do you think that starting your massage therapy practice a couple years before obtaining the gym helped prepare you for that role?
Absolutely. I definitely do. And it helped me, you obviously when you're in the gym, like you're connecting with people. But once I started doing massage therapy, I got my sports massage certification like very, very quickly. And started working with a lot of the athletes from the gym, which just helped me, to connect with them even more in terms of, you kind of know what everybody's issues are, but you can dive a little further into that, get to know them more as people, kind of a little more personal level, like what makes you tick and how can I coach you more effectively. So yeah, massage went hand in hand with better coaching and better gym ownership and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I think that's cool, being able to watch somebody move in the gym and then get your hands on them to help them in other ways, potentially improve their movement inside of the gym.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really great.
Do you find like common themes whenever you're doing massage on CrossFitters? Like, oh, usually whatever, the CrossFitters upper traps or hamstrings or whatever are usually a mess.
Definitely like traps, upper back. We do see a lot of people who have like tennis or golfer's elbow, which doesn't need to be necessarily caused by tennis or golf, but issues with like the elbows feeling really tight or the muscles surrounding the elbows feeling really tight. Um, a really common theme that we see that affects your musculature, like, I can't think of anything really that affects it more, is once you get talking to somebody, like, are people eating enough? Are they eating enough protein? And the answer to that question, typically, I would say 6 out of 10 times is no. And like, so you can not only help somebody as a massage therapist, but being, the CrossFit coach, and we have, the ability to give people nutritional advice, which is fantastic. It's another avenue where I've got somebody for an hour or an hour and a half, and I can also talk to them about like, what are you eating? And like, how much are you eating? And the quality of the foods that they take in and when they're taking them in. And like, do you eat when you first wake up in the morning, or are you waiting until noon? And that sort of thing. So I have found so many times over the last, 6 or 7 years that if you can get somebody to take in enough protein, and to start paying attention to the quality of their movements and get them into recovery, like massage and acupuncture and physical therapy and, you name it, that, yeah, all of those things are just so connected, and that you can really start to help people recover from, those super tight traps that they always have, or the hamstrings or the calves or the golfer's or tennis elbow. But yeah, so much of it can be um, made better by food choices and like all of the recovery modalities.
Yeah, I think nutrition is a huge thing that unfortunately a lot of people tend to overlook. And kind of like you said, if those muscles aren't receiving the appropriate nutrients to repair themselves, then why the heck would they loosen up and not be tense?
Yeah, and that's it. And when people come in, like I always say that self-care once a month is not too much. Like I think people should get a massage every 4 weeks, maybe every 6 weeks, but I say every four. And self-care is not selfish. It's something that you should do, especially if you are in any type of athletic situation, whether it's CrossFit or running or pickleball or paddleball or whatever you do. It's just, good for your muscles. It's good for your soul, like all that good stuff. But I want to fix people's issues or help heal people's issues. So if I can give them advice on nutrition and paying more attention to their diet, and we can get these problems resolved, maybe they're seeing me once every week, every 2 weeks. I want you to see me every 4 weeks. I mean, unless you enjoy my company and you want to come see me sooner, that's totally fine. But I don't want them to have to keep coming to see me for the same issue, because that's, if we're not making any progress, then why would we keep doing it?
Right. Um, can you dive into some of the different uh, techniques or certification type things that you utilize? Like, in case people don't know, what's the difference between sports massage and medical massage and some of those different avenues that you utilize?
Oh yeah, totally. So there's the regular massage techniques. Like some people come in for deep tissue. Some people come in for Swedish. Some people come in for therapeutic, which is kind of between Swedish and deep tissue. I like to call it like the Swedish with a little bit of pressure. And those things are all great. Swedish is a little more for relaxation. Therapeutics a little more for, maybe digging in a little bit to areas that need it. But to get the lymphatic system going and all that, and can help you sleep really well if that's something that you're lacking. Um, Sports massage is a little bit faster of a stroke, where deep tissue is a little more pressure. Sports massage is some pressure with more broad, like strokes of the muscle, working a little more of the like muscle attachments, like the tendons and stuff like that, that attach like your muscles to your bones. Focuses on specific areas. So if somebody is a runner, they come in for a sports massage. I'm going to do a lot of focus work on like their hips and their glutes and their quads and their hamstrings, calves, feet type of thing. Where if somebody is, a CrossFitter, I might have to focus more on like their neck and their upper back and kind of whatever areas, they're working a lot. So it's kind of sports specific. And I will say most of my massages are some combination of like all of these modalities typically. It's pretty rare that it's just one. But medical massage, I went down to Boston in 2021, and it was over 2 months that I got my certification. And that is orthopedic or medical. So orthopedic is like an issue that you would come and tell me about, like, oh, my plantar fasciitis is acting up. Whereas a medical massage would be like, my doctor referred me to you because I have plantar fasciitis. So it's kind of like orthopedic is you telling me, medical is your doctor telling you to tell me. But the medical massage, we do anything from like TMJ, which is the jaw. And so many people have that, to carpal tunnel, plantar fasciitis, thoracic outlet syndrome. Pretty much any medical condition you can think of that has like muscle attachments with it. Massage has been one of the, almost highly praised modalities for people with medical stuff. And like carpal tunnel can be sometimes, and I wouldn't say all the time because nothing is all the time, but like we've had people who come in with carpal tunnel, they come in for a series of massage sessions and they no longer need carpal tunnel surgery. So that's really great. And with the medical stuff, we are really, 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 really finding that people do not want to take medications. They do not want to have surgery. They're looking for like a holistic way to deal with their pain and their ailments and whatever is slowing them down. So we are so incredibly busy, like with that avenue at the office. And yeah, so I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, for sure. Just out of curiosity, like with the carpal tunnel stuff, if somebody came to you for a medical massage for that or plantar fasciitis, like, are you primarily focusing on that specific area, or are you also like treating more proximally or like further up the chain than where they're actually experiencing the symptoms?
We're definitely involves probably a good 10 minutes beforehand where we're going to have like a big conversation about like what is going on, like what are you feeling, where are you feeling it, where is it coming from. We're going to do some testing like the Faber test and that stuff to see like what is your hip mobility like. And because sometimes like somebody will say, oh, I've got this, and you start testing somewhere else and they're like, oh, when you touch by my knee, it runs all the way down to the bottom of my foot. Like that's what I've been feeling. So they might not have plantar fasciitis. So we definitely go through a little protocol where we, get down and dirty and start like touching a lot of stuff in the general area. So we're talking bottom of the foot. We might start at the knee and work down because we want to make sure that we're actually treating what needs to be treated and not just like, oh, okay, you said you have plantar fasciitis, so let's just run with that. So we do want to make sure. So yeah, we go through a whole series of questions and poking around.
Yeah, I think that's great. Like similar to me and PT, we get like an hour with these people compared to whatever the sports med or family physician gets like 7 minutes with them, has to come up with a diagnosis. Like we're able to dive into these things a little bit more and potentially find like the real root cause.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like some people who have TMJ. I find out through talking to them, like they're like, oh, I clench my jaw, whatever. And really like, you dig in and it's like the pillow they're using is not appropriate for them, or they have a lot of stress in their life, or it's really got nothing to do with the fact that they have like a slip disc in their jaw and more to do with they have a lot of stress and they need someone to talk to, which is totally part of what we do. So it's kind of like an hour, therapy session slash like massage session. So it's really great to help people in multiple ways and yeah, get to know them, which is so much more than a 15-minute doctor's appointment or an x-ray, I think.
Yeah. There's usually a reason behind why somebody grinds their teeth.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think your favorite thing is about owning both businesses?
My favorite thing about owning both businesses, one, I love that I get to do both of those things with my husband, which is just great to me. He is also a medical massage therapist, and he is, co-owner and coach at the gym as well. And I love that it's a family affair for us, and that we have so much to like talk about, and that we take classes together, and that we can refer back and forth. There's things he's really great at. There's things I'm really great at. We learn from each other all of the time. So that is amazing. So Frank is my husband. Um, and
Yeah,
then
can we just talk for a second about how, so every time Frank coaches a Saturday class at KGB, he programs a hero wad, And
Yeah.
if you're not familiar with CrossFit and hero workouts, they typically tend to be some of the suckier workouts. And for some reason, every time that I personally drop into KGB, Frank happens to be the one who is coaching. So every workout that I've done at KGB has been interesting. We'll say that.
I remember him telling me the first time you came to the gym, he's like, Dan crawled up the stairs on all.
Yeah, the workout ended with a row, which were upstairs, and I was literally on hands and knees crawling up the stairs to get to that rower.
Yeah, he is the king of the hero wad on Saturday. He's very proud, and he should be. He's great. So
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. Do you remember
no,
where do you remember where you were?
yeah. So second to the fact that I get to share all of these things with my wonderful husband, is that we get to help people and we get to know people, and I love the people I work on and I love what I get to do. And I feel so privileged every day that I get to go to work, whether it's at the massage place or if it's at the gym. And like, that's my job. It's kind of surreal. Like, people pay me money for this. Like, I feel like I do not feel like I go to work a day in my life because I really, really love what I do.
Just like the saying.
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. Is there anything that you feel like people should know more about massage and or CrossFit?
I feel like let's tackle CrossFit first. I cannot tell you. I'm sure you have heard this as well. You talk to people who have never done it, and they tell you, I've seen that on TV, and there's no way I could do that. There's no way I could do that either. And I've been there for 12 years. Or the people who say, like, oh, I want to do it, but I need to get a little fitter first. You don't. Our oldest member at the gym is 81 years old. We have 10 members in their 70s. We have the majority of our members are in their 50s and 60s, and that CrossFit really is for everyone. It doesn't matter your level of fitness. It doesn't matter if you have never worked out a day in your life. You can come in and you can do it, and we can keep you safe and you will not be injured, because that doesn't do anybody any good. So we always tell people, like, we're going to come in, we're going to modify you appropriately for where you're at, because we want you to be able to come tomorrow. And if you can't, if you're too sore or you're hurt, that's not good for anyone. You're not going to be here, so we're not going to get to see you and help you with your fitness, and you're not going to be doing anything. So that doesn't help anybody. So if you want to try CrossFit, find a gym and they're going to help you. And it really is for everybody. And maybe, like me, you'll have a life-changing experience and it'll be really great. And you'll make a lot of new friends. And we like to say at our gym that we come here to socialize. We just happen to work out because we love each other. And the community of CrossFit is really amazing.
Yeah, I
So,
love that. I've heard many times that people start going there for the exercise and they end up staying because of the community.
yes, so very true. As for massage, try it if you haven't tried it. And if you have tried it and you are on vacation in Aruba, and you thought it was, all it did was help you sleep better, or you didn't like it, or I had somebody tell me one time that they got a massage on vacation and that the therapist worked on their big toe for a really long time, which was kind of weird. So if you had some really weird experience with massage, please go try somewhere else where they have kind of different types of massage, like sports massage if you're an athlete, or if you are a pregnant woman, try prenatal massage, but try somewhere else, or find a place that's very reputable and give it a whirl, because it really does make such a big difference for your health and your well-being and fitness if you are a fitness person. But it's not one size fits all, that's for sure. Just like physical therapy, so many people have told me, oh, I feel like I went to physical therapy and it didn't really do anything for me. well, you're just not with the right person, because when Dan does physical therapy, results happen and magic happens, and Sarah doesn't squat shifting to one side because Dan was actually helpful. So, like anything else, you find someone who
Stop
fits
it.
you.
And there's nothing wrong with sleeping better by any means. So even
Absolutely.
if that's all you get out of massage, like, well worth it.
Correct. And some people come for that, and that is absolutely a thing. But if you came because you had some physical thing you wanted worked on and that did not happen, please do not let the buck stop there. Please find somebody else and let them help you.
Yeah, and usually like one time isn't going to make miraculous changes, right? It's something that you're going to have to be consistent with and keep coming back like every 4 weeks, like you said.
Absolutely. And yeah, and some people try it for the first time, and I can't tell you how often I hear like, well, I booked an hour, but that kind of seems like a long time. And then at the end of the hour, they're like, oh my God, that was not a long time at all. I wish that I had booked 90 minutes.
Right. So where can people go to learn more about you, your businesses?
So we are on the web. So we are CrossFitKGB.com is our website. And then at our massage place, we are MediSports Recovery Massage, which you can find our website is msrmassage.com. The massage practice does have online booking. So we do Monday through Sunday. So we are there 7 days a week. So yeah, come in, check us out. And if we're not for you, we will help you find somebody who is, because we believe in what we do and we don't believe it's a one size fits all. So, and if all the time, maybe you don't need a massage, maybe you need Dan, the physical therapist, or you need a chiropractor, or you need an acupuncturist, we will send you wherever we think you need to go, because we want you to experience results and get better and feel better and be a better version of you.
Wonderful. Do you have social media accounts for both of those as well?
We sure do. We are on Facebook and Instagram for both.
Perfect. Any other parting words for our listeners?
Parting words for our listeners. Go out and enjoy the sunshine this weekend and stay safe. And tomorrow's the 4th of July, so happy holiday and enjoy your freedom and patriotism and wear something red, white, and blue.
Beautiful. Love it. Well, thank you again, Sarah, for joining us. Have a good weekend yourself.
Thanks. You as well, Dan. Thanks for having me.